Welcome back to another powerful episode of Becoming Me, Discovering You. I'm your host, Quan, and today we're going to be discussing a deeply important and sensitive topic: the experience of feeling suicidal during the time of depression. While depression can be incredibly challenging, it's important to always remember that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. In today's episode, I'll be telling you about my journey of suicidal thoughts and the incredible resilience it took to heal from it. So let's get into it a little more and discuss. Okay, y'all, so I would like to share my personal experiences with my suicidal thoughts, and not only thoughts, I had attempts. So I do want to start off with saying that this topic really has been a hard one for me. With all my other episodes that I did, I hadn't done but three before this one. But with all the other three episodes that I did, it was pretty easy for me to sit down, press record. I did have to start over a few times just because I'm a perfectionist. But, anyways, it was easy for me to sit down, press record, and go through my outline because I have an outline of what I want to say so I won't ramble on my podcast. I do have a tendency of rambling. So I do have to have an outline so it can guide me through how I want the episode to be so it can be presented to y'all well and it sounds professional. But for some reason with this one, it usually takes me about a day to put an outline together, what I want to say, how I want it to flow. Are we going to do the intro by itself or whatever. But for this one, it took me about 3 days to come up with just the intro, you know, um, just to write the intro down and just to know what I wanted to say because I didn't want to offend anybody. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes or anything like that. So what I had to do is what I do all the time is I had to pray about it. And it wasn't just usually I do, and I'm gonna take it back. I do pray before every podcast I put out, asking God to give me the words that I need to say so it can touch that one person that's listening for this guidance that I'm giving out of the journey of going through my life and what I had to deal with or whatever. But on this one, it wasn't even, I had to ask for God to guide me in what I needed to say. But I also had to ask God for courage because I wanted this episode to be a little bit more personal. I do feel like all my other episodes are personal. They do show who I am. You do get my story in every episode. Everything that I tell you is me, is true. But it was just something about this one that just really was really hard for me to do. I get off of my regular job at 1 o'clock a.m. So usually when I get off on a Wednesday, today's Wednesday, well, technically Thursday morning, but anyways, I get off and I set up everything before I go to work. I have put my computer out, I put my mic out, my headphones out, I do all of that, set everything up so I can just get off and get right back on my computer to start recording my podcast. So I already know we're going to do this. Today I just could not do that. I could not find it in me to get on here and to discuss discuss this. Um, so what I did, again, I prayed. I prayed and asked God to show me a sign if this is not what I was supposed to be doing, if I'm not supposed to be talking about this. Give me another topic to talk about. We can, quickly put an outline together because it's nothing. It's easy. If I can have a topic, I can talk about it. But this one just would not go away. That little voice in the back of my head was like, somebody has to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this. Um, it's somebody out there that's struggling and need to know where I came from, and it might just help them. So before I do, I am going to finally get into my stories. As I told y'all, I have no outline, so I'm rambling. But I am going to get into my story. So the very first time I had suicidal thoughts was about 15. If you heard my very first episode that I ever done, I told y'all what happened at the age of 15 till what I went through to now. I said I broke everything down to y'all, but it was at 15. Me and my mama she had left my daddy, as y'all know, they divorced. But anyway, she had left him by that time. So at this time, I wasn't really being, I'm going to take that back because I was just finna lie to y'all. I was finna say I wasn't being rebellious, but I was. So I was in that rebellion state, quote unquote. And I just wanted to do stuff that I never would think I would do before, because the type of parent that my mama was, or not even was, the type of parent that she is she's she's very cutthroat. She gonna tell you like it is. Um, she raised me to say, if a boy touch your booty, you gonna get pregnant. So for a very long time, most all my friends had lost their virginity, and I haven't. So at 15, it was like, fuck it, let's try it. It's gonna be great. It wasn't all that. It was okay, but it wasn't all that. It wasn't worth the disappointment that my mama felt when she found out. And she asked me, of course, she had already knew. My mama the type of person, if she asks you a question, she already know the answer. So she's asking you this because one, you're either going to lie to her or you're going to tell the truth. I chose option one. So I lied. And even though in my mind I had already knew, she's asking this question because she already knew some type of way. How did she know? I don't know. But she had found out. And when she found out, it was like all hell broke loose. And to be understandable, it should have broke loose. I was 15 years old doing stuff that I should not have been doing because, again, I was only 15, had no kind of real experience. If I can take it back, I probably would be a virgin until I was 18. I ain't gonna push it too far, but by 18, I should have waited. Um, but so that's she should have broke. She should have just raised all hell, broke every bone in my body. Should have been, but anyways, because again, like I told y'all, my mama always told me, oh, if you let a boy touch your booty, you're gonna get pregnant. So really and truly, she know how you're gonna get pregnant. So because I had already done what can get you pregnant, and yes, at 15, I knew that you had to do more than touch my butt to get pregnant. Let's not think that. But anyways, so at 15, I already knew the risk of what could happen. Because it only take one time, and my luck, I have no luck if it's not bad luck. So with my luck, you never knew. Just was taking risks. So anyways, my mama knew this, and because she's my parent, she left home after we had the discussion of what happened. I finally told her the truth. And when I told her the truth of what happened, I could see the disappointment in her face. And it wasn't like disappointment like, oh, you got a bad grade disappointment, or it wasn't even disappointment like you got in trouble at school disappointment, because I used to get in trouble too. So it wasn't that kind of disappointment. It was the kind where you knew when you looked at her, you just knew like I would never get that innocent Quan back again because she took this step into something she doesn't even know about. So I can see that disappointment on her face. And I'm the type of person that I can disappoint a lot of motherfuckers in this world. But my mama, she do too much for me to disappoint her. And I'm still like that to this day. It's just not to that extent of making me not want to be here. Like the thought of, if I can disappoint her like this, then what's the point of continuing to be here to just be a disappointment to her? I felt that way. I felt like I was just being a disappointment to her. And that look gave me that. And if you ask my mama today, I can guarantee that's not how she felt. But to me, that's how I felt. So everything going through my mind of newly just being me and my mama in a house together, because my mama was always the only one that raised me. But just going from not having to run to nobody else, like I couldn't run behind my daddy and hide when my mama was being my mama. You know what I mean? I couldn't go there for him to protect me, per se. So with all of that and knowing the disappointment, it was just really in my mind of, what are we here for? Why are we here? Why would you want to keep disappointing her like this? And it was a real battle within myself, because as I'm sitting here telling y'all the story, I can see the apartment that we lived in when I told her. I can see her face when I told her. Um, I can see when she left out of the house, and just, I can see all that. I can remember it. And so after she left, and it was just like that battle within myself, and the demon won and told me, what, we're not worthy. We're not worth to be here. Look what you did. You can never undo that. You can never get that back. So why would you want to keep being here and being a heartbreak to her? And what I'm telling y'all is the battle that I was having within myself. And I'm not even gonna say within myself, the battle that the words that the demon was telling me, or the devil was telling me, that this is what you should do because you ain't worthy. You're not worth being here. So that's what I took. I was weak and really didn't understand that if I just prayed hard enough, and God has shown me that that's not what she thinks. She is disappointed, but she's gonna always love you. She gonna always go to war for you. She gonna always be at battle for you. If I just knew at that moment to just pray and block it out, or even hell, not even, or pick up the phone and call my mama and say, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I want to do. I don't know why I want to do it, but this is what I want to do. But instead of doing that, I found Tylenol PM, and it was a full bottle, and I took every one of them, just about. And for some reason, not even for some reason, as now at 35, I know the reason. It was God. And she called to continue the conversation. Basically, after she calmed down, going to get her pregnancy test, because yes, we got to figure out if I'm going to be a grandma or not. So she called me, and it was right after I took the pills. And only thing I could say to her was, I'm sorry, and I won't be a disappointment anymore. You don't got to worry about me. And hung up the phone. So after hanging up the phone, and I can't really speak and say if my mama knew I was dealing with depression. I can say it. Dealing with depression, and it wasn't to the point of that depressed. It was just, the depression of adjusting to my new life, or like I said, not having two parents in the house, or something like that, just adjusting to that. So she can tell that that was going on, but um so she knew something had happened, and she came back home. And now thinking about it, sitting here telling y'all, like, what if she wouldn't call me? What if she didn't pick up the phone, and she didn't call me, and I had did that, and she walked in the house and there I was. You know what I mean? Like, how does that look? To me, and now when I don't I don't think about have suicidal thoughts as often as I used to. It used to be like anything that just we don't want to be here. Just basically running. I was running from any situation that I used to deal with. Anything that was tough. I felt like, God, why am I here? Like, I can just take care of it for you so I don't have to keep dealing with this. I don't have to be your strongest soldier. Those were my thoughts. And as I have become on this journey of self discovery, I realized that that's stupid. It's really a cop out for me. It could be somebody out there that's dealing with or having suicidal thoughts, and I can easily let you know it's easier to talk to somebody than to just end it, because you never know what somebody else is dealing with and how somebody else can help you, because it may not be a family member, it may not be a friend, it can be someone, a stranger you can talk to. And just let, and you don't even have to tell them, like, when people used to say, oh, you can talk to people, you can let them know this is when you're getting help in that process. So in my mind, I used to think, like, why would I go up to somebody or have a conversation with somebody and be like, I'm having suicidal thoughts. How are you today? It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be awkward, because it can just be a simple conversation. I've had conversations with people and I've said something to them first, like, oh, today's just not been a great day or something like that. And we went into a conversation about what's going on, because again, I'm a rambler, I'm a talker, I'm going to talk. So just having conversations with people and relieving that stress that you had can help. Even if it's just for an hour, it can help. It clears your mind for that hour to think, like, why would I want to do that? That's stupid. Just listening to this person's story, they got it 10 times harder than I do, but they smiling and telling me it's going to be okay. So why would I choose that path and it's somebody else out here suffering worse than me? But with suicide, it's a crazy thing. Anyways, when it happened, my mama came in. She, called 911, figured out what I did. She called 911, got help. I was upset because not knowing, being stupid and thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the hospital and go home. But that ain't how it work. But anyways, it was the best for me. I was able to speak to somebody to get some help. Um, for a long time, it worked. For a long time, I was able to finally accept the things that was going on in my life. I was able to talk to somebody about it that wasn't my mom or wasn't somebody in my family, but I was able to actually release it. So, got on with my life. I went on. It really didn't come up as often. So in my mind, it was like, oh, we cured. Not gonna say that I wasn't depressed, that I didn't deal with life, because at the end of the day, life is lifing. But I really thought I was not in that phase anymore, and I call it a phase because that's what it was. But about a year ago, something almost broke me. I can't. It just something almost broke me, and when I just said that when I attempted suicide, it was pills, and that was easier. You know what I mean? It wasn't less painful. It wasn't as dirty as some would say. If you watch crime, most women, if they're going to do a murder or if they're going to take their self out, it's going to be clean, because we don't want too many people cleaning up behind us. So that's that. But with this, it was I didn't give a fuck. So about a year ago, something almost took me out. Um, I didn't have any pills this day, and that should have been just a sign, like, it's okay, pray about it. Go in your little corner and do your thing. But it didn't. Again, the devil was in my ear. Let me know, like, what we doing this for? Why we keep dealing with this stress for? And I used to be a cutter to where it was superficial. Like I just break skin, like basically playing so I can feel. Um, but this day it was like, we're going to see what that vein really can do. How fast can it take you out? And I usually can cut around it. It's nothing to brag about, but usually that anatomy was okay with me. But this time I hit it on the market. Like I hit jackpot this day. And when it happened, it scared me so bad because it was like, oh my God. Again, for me, it was always a thought for me, like, but I'm a compulsive thinker, like they say you see something, oh my God, I just want to throw this everywhere. Oh my God, I just want to hit it or something like that. You just see something like slime. I just want to touch it. Just got to touch it. I just want to feel what it feel like. And we know what it feel like. So that's what my mind is. My mind is when it gets an idea of something, we have to go with it. I'm a very compulsive thinker. I used to be. I tried to slow that down. Certain stuff I still just have to do. Like I know that's hot, but I want to touch it. So I may touch it, but it's nothing as deep as it was. It was never, and it was dark deep, like dark compulsive. Like we got to do this. We got to feel it. So it was something that I needed to feel. I needed to feel that cut. So I did it, and oh my goodness, I've never seen so much blood. But anyways, fast forward, I didn't tell nobody what happened. I made it all, got all the way through. I made it. I was able to luckily, this is again how you know it was God because I know I hit the vein that you don't supposed to hit, like the jugular in your arm. I don't even know what it's called. But that vein, I know I hit it because it bled and it wasn't like trickling blood. It was squirting blood. So I know I broke the vein. Um, but anyways, all that I was able to finally doctor it up. I probably bled and it was probably very dangerous. I should have went to a hospital, but I just didn't. But I did end up being able to patch it up. I bled probably for about 2, maybe 3 days. At this time, I wasn't staying with my mama. I had my own place. So I was home. I didn't have to go. I didn't go to my mama's house. She stayed right down the road from me. And I used to go almost every day. But I didn't go to her house for about maybe 2, 3 months. Or maybe 2, 3 weeks at the beginning. So because at the beginning I had to have like a bandage on my arm. So I didn't want to have to go around with a bandage because if you got a bandage, they're gonna be like, why you got a bandage? So I didn't do that. I made sure I was able to put on like long sleeves. I always wore a jacket or something around. Or when I went around, I didn't move my arm so they can see it. Stuff like that. I played it off. I tried to hide it as best as I can. But always remember somebody is watching, somebody sees something. And it was a minute ago. It probably was just about, I ain't even gonna, it was probably about maybe the beginning of this year. Me and my mom was having a conversation about something that her and my brother was discussing. And again, we all a very close family. We talk about everything. We discuss everything with each other or whatever. So my mama and brother was talking about something, and I want to say it was suicide. I want to say I ain't gonna, not 100% sure, but I think that's what they were talking about. But my mama told me, he was like, yeah, Mitris made the comment, um, I would never cut myself because I seen what it did to Kwani's arm. And just how I just got silent with y'all, I didn't know what to say. I really don't even think I think I kind of brushed it off like, oh, it was nothing, da da da. I don't even think I really had that conversation with my mama. Um, because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have that conversation. But when I got off the phone, the impact that those words had on me, because at 15 it was just me. You know what I mean? I didn't have a brother and sister at that time. They didn't come around till I was 16, a year later. But I didn't have a brother and sister at that time to look at me and to notice the stuff that I do, or notice the way that I act when I feel a certain type of way. And my sister, she may notice, but she's not too much gonna say anything. Like my brother, he like me and my mama. He gonna say something. He gonna bring it to attention because he feel like it should be brought to attention. It's something that need to be discussed. And just getting off the phone and having to replay that back in my head and think like, damn, you really was gonna do that to them? Like, you really was gonna be that selfish and and just end it because you can't handle life? Um, because you, in my mama's voice, want to have a tantrum? Like, it really made me sit back and think about what I do and the impact that I have on them. Like, they 19 years old, so they still experiencing the world. And how can I give them advice and I can't even help myself or even encourage myself to make it, to know, like, they at the age where you really finna be dealing with unnecessary bullshit, unnecessary bullshit finna come to them. So how am I gonna give them the armor to take on the world and my armor shattering? So that's what I thought about after hearing that. So with that, it really made me think about how I want to handle myself when I get to that point. And it's just been simple. Like, I write a lot of shit down. Like, I have a journal. I got 4 or 5 journals, not just one. I write something. I even write on napkins. Like, I'm a person that's gonna write, and I really can't have, and when I thought about it, like, you writing a lot, but I really can't. I'm not that person that they be like, oh, get on your knees and pray. I can't make up a prayer on spot. I can barely pray over my food. All I got is thank you for this food and the nourishment of my body. Amen. But when it comes to like deep prayer and deep thoughts of letting it go to God, I never knew how to do that. And I think that was my, not even think, I know that was my problem with trying to overcome certain situations. And again, I don't want y'all to think that, oh, prayer changes everything, because prayer does not. It does, it helps. But when you pray, you gotta be doing the work on earth while God is doing the work inside of you. You got to be able to do the work to accept what God is giving you, because he always been giving us that love. He always been giving us that care. He's always been giving us that protection. We've always known that God ain't going to put too much on us that we can bear. But you got to be able to get talk to somebody, be able to explain, have a conversation with somebody and explain how you feeling so they can help you navigate through those feelings and navigate to be able to listen to what God got to. Because when your mind is cloudy, you don't hear nothing but that cloud, that rainstorm, that thunder. That's all you hear every day, all day. And I've prayed. I'm not the person that when I'm going through something, I'm not praying. I'm asking God every day, like, God, help me. God, guide me. Show me something. But because I'm asking him to do these things, and he doing it. He answering my prayers. But because I'm so stuck on those last 5 minutes of bad time that I had, I done ruined the last 5 months, because that's all I keep thinking about is the negative. I'm not thinking about, oh, it was negative 5 months ago, but this month it's a little bit better, or 5 months later it's a little bit better. I'm still dwelling on it wasn't that good 5 months ago. I'm not hearing nothing. I'm not thankful that I made it 5 months later. So until I was able to get the tools to talk to somebody, to let it out, like just really scream with somebody and learn how to unclear and unclog my mind so that I can hear God, that's what I had to do. So I took my journals and I started writing. Like I started writing to God. When I talk to God, I'm talking to God just like I talk to you. I throw a couple cuss words in there too, because I can't not talk without a cuss word. I be trying, but but I do honestly have conversations like I would to my friends with God, and that has helped me so much to lift so much off of me and still know He won't give me too much that I can't bear, but I can bear it because I'm not worried about something that's so fucking small that didn't need to be changed, or it was done because it was done to show me that that person or this situation that you put yourself in was stupid. It was for me to learn from, not to stand in. So I had to learn how to pick my feet up out of bullshit and get out of it. So with the thoughts of suicide, it just is something that I hold dear to my heart. Like I'm as big of an advocate as I am with in my mind, as big as an advocate, and I do try to let people know that mental health matters. It is something you should take care of, just like you put your wigs on, just like we put our lashes on, nails on, face made up, everything we do to make ourselves look presentable on the outside. We need to find that same makeup for how to make us feel on the inside and know that our mental health, we ain't nothing just because we cute and we still got a whole bunch of shit going in our head. So it's nothing. So I had to figure that out to know that suicide ain't the way. It's not. It's a real cop out. And I pray that if anybody that's listening to this episode and is really all over the place, and I'm sorry about that, y'all, but anybody that's listening to this episode, I really, really pray that you find the help that you need so you can blossom into the person that God made you to be. It's never too late to do anything. It's never too late to accomplish a goal. It's never too late to forgive yourself. It's never too late to forgive that person that hurt you. It's never too late to move out of that mindset. We just got to take the first step. And I had to realize that I got to take the first step. I can't keep waiting on my mama to help me. I can't keep waiting on this nigga to figure it out. I can't keep waiting on my cousins to help me. I can't keep waiting on my friends to help me. I got to be able to help myself. I got to be able to look and know that it's just me and God. This is what I got to do. I got to be able to, one, unclear my mind so I can hear what the hell God trying to tell me. Two, I need to be able to figure out how can I stay in this moment? Because it's real easy to get out of that moment when that moment passes. And then when another moment just like that moment come up, we back in the same cycle. So I had to figure out how to get out of that cycle because I was just walking in a circle. I'm good one day, bad the next day, good one day, bad the next day. So I had to figure out what's going to make me get out of that circle. What's going to make me feel motivated? What's going to make me feel like, you know what, bitch, you deserve to be here. The world is blessed because I'm here. And that's how I have to see it. Like, I have to be that big personality in my head, kind of like that in person, but not really. But I have to be that big personality in my head, like, bitch, we here. Bitch, I'm me. Who gonna be me? How can God make another me? He ain't made but one coin. So I have to keep giving myself that motivation to know that he ain't made but one coin. He ain't made but one battle that Quan gonna go through in her life. Or multiple wars, or multiple battles within this war of life that I gotta go through. He only made that for me. And he made that for me so I can become the person he wants me to become. The person that before I was even born, he had vision that this is what she's going to do. These are the things she's going to be to accomplish in this world. These are the things that she's going to change for somebody. This is what she's going to be. But in order for her to be that, I got to take her through this. And until I started moving from just one of this that he took me through, I had to know that, okay, I got this through. So now I got to go over the next thing. So when I make it through this, because where I'm at now, it's a battle. I'm in a battle right now as I make this podcast. But making this podcast is letting me know that we got to keep motivated. We got to keep moving. Nothing comes to somebody that's just lying there. Nothing. Nothing but a daydream and a dream because you're going to eventually fall asleep. So ain't nothing coming to me but dreams and daydreams if I'm not moving. I'm wishing and hoping this is what I want to be. This is how I want my life to be. I don't want to feel depressed no more. I don't want it to overcome me to the point of I don't want to be here or I don't want to accept what God has the battle God has given me because I feel like I'm too weak for it. So I had to figure out what was going to make me stronger. And what made me stronger was my family. I'm a big family person. I talk about my family probably every episode on this podcast, every episode on my YouTube, or every in person. I'm going to talk about my family because that's what motivates me. Being able to figure out now how the hell I'm going to pay my mama back for everything she did for me. Or how the hell I'm going to get my brother and them to be something or be better than what I am? No, I can't take it out of what they got to go through because they got to go through it on their own to be able to be the people that they need to be. But how am I going to be that motivation for them when their time comes? Or how can I help them prevent their time, prevent from feeling how I feel? How can I help them? That's my motivation. What example can I show them? So that's the motivation that I decided. And they've been here for 19 years. My brother and them been here for 19 years. My mama been in my life for 35 years. And I just figured that out that they are the reason right now, just because until I figure out what that real reason is, they are that reason. They're the reason for me to continue to live. They're the reason for me to continue to prosper and try to become something. They're the reason that I need to wake up every day and not feel like shit every day. They're that reason. I'm not gonna say I don't because it's hard. It's not easy. It's not a cakewalk at all to get through none of this. I'm still figuring it out every day, and it's going to be a battle every day. But in order to win that battle, you got to get up and fight it. If you are having any kind of suicidal thoughts or if you ever attempted suicide, just know you not alone. You're not, because I was there, and I can tell you now it's a journey from getting from where you are now to where you need to be, or at least where I am. And I'm not even 100% at all. I say I'm at least 25, 30%. I still got a long way to go. But at this 30%, I promise you, I feel worthy. And I'm saying I feel worthy. I feel worthy to the point where I don't have to hear it from somebody else. I used to be that person. Like, I just want somebody to tell me you doing a good job or great job. I don't have to do that no more because I already know, like, you did that. I can congratulate myself. I can pat myself on the back for just the simplest things. Or you made it through this depression today. You made it today. You didn't have no evil thoughts today. You made it. You just knew you was dealing with something and you knew you had to figure it out of how to get out of it, how to overcome it, how to become something different, how to have a different mood that day. I worked on it. So that's a congratulations to me. I didn't have to tell nobody that. I used to have to tell people those accomplishments. So that's why I'm at 30% of just being happy that I figured it out and that I didn't have to think about something crazy to make me say, "Oh no, don't think like that." No, I didn't even have to go there. So it does take some time to get there, and it is a battle to get there, but I feel like it's worth it, just to experience life. And life is no cakewalk. At the end of the day, like, God didn't promise us for it to be a cakewalk. He didn't. He didn't do that at all. That's why He gave us the will to make our own decisions. Because if that wasn't the case, it would be perfect. So I feel like some important steps that you do need to take to get to at least 30%. There are some suicide crisis lines. I'm in Florida, and the number, when I looked it up, I don't know if this is for everybody, but the number that I had, it was a 988 number. You can call that. It's 988 is the number. You can call that number, or you can text it if you're not a phone person like me. I talk on the phone for 8 hours a day. I don't want to have to talk to you, especially when I'm feeling, but I'm a texter. So if you are a texter, you can most definitely text, and they can guide you to the right place of being, or the right place and the right people to get in contact with locally in your area, so they're able to help you. Now, the next step to me, as most important, is getting a therapist, speaking to somebody, letting them know why you feel this way, when these thoughts came to you, and why do you feel like it'll make you or make a better place for other people that you feel like you're disappointing. That was my reason. I don't know if that's your reason, but um, talk to a therapist. And as I said before, yeah, therapy is something that is hit or miss with some people. But I feel like you need to find a therapist that fits your personality, somebody that is going to talk to you your kind of way, that fits your genre. I found somebody when I was going to therapy. The lady that I had, she was more my type of personality, somebody that sit back, chill, cool, talk to. And I felt like I was talking to, I ain't gonna say an old friend, but like a nice, close coworker. So I did get close enough to her to be able to give that information. And after a while, she became a friend, not just a coworker. But she fit my personality. She didn't push me. I'm not somebody that you're gonna make talk or force to talk. She didn't do that. She allowed me to speak about what I wanted to speak about when I wanted to speak about it. So I liked it her. So you do need to find a therapist that fits your personality. And just remember, reaching out to somebody or reaching out for help to somebody is not a sign of weakness. It does not mean that you are weak. It does not mean that you can't do this on your own. It does not mean any of that. It only means that your strength. You're being able to be strength so that you can save yourself. You're showing self-love, not self-hate. So when you're reaching out for help, you're actually accepting yourself and letting yourself know, I love me. I love me enough to stay here. So I did ramble a little bit with the podcast. I had a little outline, but not much. I just basically spoke and let y'all know what was on my mind, what was on my heart. It is all over the place, and I do apologize about that again. But I do want to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. And it has been kind of emotional. I did shed a few tears, not too many, but has been an emotional journey from dealing with depression to being on the path of hope and healing. Always remember, it's critical to reach out to support if you or someone you know is struggling. There will always be someone ready to lend a helping hand to you, someone that's eager to remind you that you matter. So before we leave, make sure you always keep listening, keep learning, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you for joining me on this personal and important episode of Becoming Me, Discovering You. If you or someone you know is in a crisis, please remember that there are helpline services available, and always remember you are not alone. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep becoming. And as always, have a great day.